Hello my friends, Jerry Rosa here in the Rosa String Works workshop, and I've received a really nice gift from Algo Technologies. It is an Alpha MK2 laser cutter, and this one is super easy to use, as it says right on the package. In fact, that's how they market this, as the easiest laser cutter to use. You don't even have to have it connected to a computer. However, some assembly is required, and we're going to get to that right now. I think I know what's in this large box. We have the honeycomb platform, and this gives you some idea as to how large the bed is on the laser cutter. And here is the piece of metal that goes under that. This will keep you from cutting into your table or anything that it's sitting on. This has got some blue plastic on there, so we'll peel that off. So once you get the blue plastic peeled off, you just can put that under there as a backer to your honeycomb platform and lay that on your table, and this will be a good platform for cutting your projects or etching your projects, whatever you're doing. So we'll set that aside for the moment, and we'll open up the box and see what we've got in store for us. I know we do have to put a lot of things together. We have the consumables and the laser engraving user manual. And it looks like they've given us a little board here to do a project on. And again, the really nice packing foam. And everything comes packed in that foam. Therefore, you know it's going to be very protected. We have the little air pump for the air assist. And it looks like we have a USB cord. This is for adjusting the height of the laser. I'm not exactly sure what that's for, but we'll get into it and figure that out. So we'll pull out the different components and lay them out here on the table. Here's the power cord, obviously, and more of the power cord. And here's some protective glasses, laser glasses. You shouldn't really use a laser, especially an open laser, without protective glasses on. This looks like this is the front of the unit. It's got some protective plastic there, so we'll take that off. Here's part of the air assist, and I believe this is also. We have the keys and various screws and parts that we will need to put it together. Some more railing, and the motors are very nice. They're very heavy duty, you can just tell. Everything's very well made. Some more parts. Here's the laser unit itself. You can tell it's very well made. It's very solid feeling in your hand. Metal rod that I know we need. Now we will just need some time to put her all together. There's a look at everything that came in the package. We're going to get started by getting the user manual out and seeing how we put this together. Well, my friends, I think I have it laid out like it's supposed to be. The directions are good, but they're also distant pictures. And for me, and maybe it's because I'm colorblind, they all blend together and I can't tell one part from the other. But I think I've got it laid out the way it's supposed to be laid out. It does lay out all the parts for you here, and you can go through it and figure out what goes where. These are the M4 by 12 screws that go in here. Regarding the screws, they provide tools to tighten the screws with, but I went and got my own. You get them all started, and then you can just spin them up real tight, real fast. Okay, the directions call for plugging in this little cable right here. Okay, it's time to put on the rear panel. Everything fits together very well. I think for my purposes, I'm going to spin this around. We got them all started, so let's just firm them up first. I just run them in till they stop, more or less, and we'll do that on all 6 screws, and then we'll go back and tighten all 6 screws. Okay, we're going to tighten them all up now that they're all in and snug. This is referred to as the X assembly. It's time to hook up the laser to this assembly. And the first thing you do is you pull this little lever down to loosen up the clamp. Then you can slide this in. Once you slide that in, then of course you need to lift this back up to lock it in place. I don't know if I've got it at the right height yet or not, but we're going to just call that good for the moment. Looks like the next thing we do is we insert this cable into this up here. It looks like it can only go one way. I believe the directions are telling me to connect up this in here, and it's just a push connection, and that's part of the air control. Looks like there's two of them. Maybe they just give you an extra. I don't know. This one's a little shorter. The only identifying is air pipe 1 and air pipe 2, so I'm confused about that. In my opinion, the directions aren't very clear on some of these things. We'll just move on and pretend like we didn't notice that. To the best of my understanding, we put in these screws in here next. I will say the assembly is actually fairly easy. I believe we've completed step 4. We're on to step 5. It looks like step 5 is 2 pages, it looks like. Well, again, in my opinion, the directions are not very clear. All it says is limit switch terminals and interfaces. It doesn't say connect white to black or white to white and black to black. And then it says laser module cable air pipe. Put the air pipe and main cable through the hole under the Y-axis. I think that's been done, and then we turn it over and plug it in. At least that part I think is fairly clear. But over here, I don't really know what to do with this. I'm assuming white to white and black to black. I would think that makes the most sense. So I'm just going to connect them up. And then there's an extra cable here that I assume goes down to the bottom and plugs in. And then it looks like you turn this over and connect up these parts under here. That does make sense. It says to put this air pipe through something. I'm going to have to study the directions to try to figure out what to do with the air pipe, because that's not very clear in my opinion. I know there are plenty of videos out there showing how to do all this, so I could look this up. But I thought, you know, it should be clear from the instructions. Best I can figure out is you press this down in here and then you push this hose in the back here, which makes sense. This hose goes in here, into this, which goes into here. Then you go into this right here, and that's just my best guess. That way that connects that up. So that makes sense, but pretty much just doing it by intuition, because the directions, in my opinion, don't really spell it out. Now we need to fasten the belt locking screws. Some reading and studying here to try to figure out what they're talking about there. Okay, I'm putting these tensioning screws in the ends here, and you kind of have to reach inside there and make this come up to it where it'll start screwing in. It's very easy to do. It's just that they don't reach until you put your finger in there and pull them up to where they'll go. They're in there, and I'll have to read about adjusting these tension. I don't know how to do that yet. After you tension these 2 screws, then you can tighten it down. On this side, there's 2 other screws to tighten it down. So I'm doing that. I don't know if I've got it a little too tight or not. I didn't go all the way. I just went about 2/3 of the way tight. And now we're going to install the motor extension shaft, which I believe is this. It's probably just as easy to turn it up like that to do this, I think. It doesn't show you how to do this at all. One of these already had the screws in it. The other one did not. So I didn't know if there was a trick to that or not, but it's pretty straightforward and pretty simple. There's nothing to this. You just line it up and put it about halfway on there, I assume. Alright, I'm snugging them all down now real good and snug. Well, that might be everything. I'm not really sure. Well, how to focus the laser, I think I get that. This is the 4th laser I've had, so I kind of get some of this stuff. And it tells you how to replace the lens if you need to replace the lens. I guess that's what these might be for. So I think we're done putting it together. So I'm going to go ahead and hook this hose back up here and hook it up to this. As far as I can tell, that's everything. The only thing that's left, there's one screw left in here, and I'm pretty sure I put all the screws in that I needed to put in. And I have this thumb screw, and I saw this somewhere in the book, so I'll have to go back through and figure out where that thumb screw goes. I would imagine it has something to do with this laser, but I don't really know that. Friends, it's been several days since I've been around this laser cutter. I was out of town for a few days. I got sick for a couple of days, and all I did this morning was plug it into the power, and then I turned it on, and that's all I've done. I'm actually going to power it off. I have not even tried anything yet. The idea is that supposedly intuitive type laser that you can just do right out of the box. Well, I'm assuming that that's true. I don't know anything about it. I promise you I have not tried anything yet. I set the board on here and I did power it on, and I did scroll through the menu. I did connect it to Wi-Fi. Other than that, that's all I've done. I scrolled through the menu just to kind of familiarize myself with it, but that's all. I haven't done anything else, I promise you. So let me power it on. We'll walk you through what I'm walking through, and again, we're doing this together. So it homes itself. It did that the first time also. Now, here's the menu, and the menu says Projects, Control, and Settings. You know, I want to do a project, so I'm just going to click on Project. And then we have examples, or off the SD card, or a USB connection. I'm going to go with their sample files or examples. Press on that. I've already scrolled through this before, so I know what's on here. I'm going to go to the bottom. They have one here. It looks like it's a Christmas scene. It's getting close to Christmas. We might as well do something like that. And then I'm going to pick the 20-watt laser, and I'm going to say always. I don't know what to do now. It doesn't really say. Is there a button for print? I'm just going to click on it again, I think. If I click on it again, I have a feeling it's just going to give me that screen again. Yeah. Here's the screen again, so okay, that time it did take the always. Okay, so now what do I do? I'm going to click back. I guess I have to click, I don't know, I'll click, there's a settings button up here and there's a back button. If I go back, I think I'm just going back to the main menu. Maybe I'll go back to that. Maybe I'll go to control. I don't see any options here. This is not, you know, they said it's totally intuitive. Well, maybe it is, but it isn't necessarily for me. Here's a power button, or I wonder if that just turns it off. I have a feeling that'll just turn it off. No, I don't want to shut down, so I'm going to cancel that. You know, it's supposed to be intuitive, and you're supposed to be able to just figure it out right off the bat. Now, I'm not playing stupid here. I'm just stupid, I guess, because I don't get it. I don't see what I'm supposed to do to make it print that sled. I would think that after you pick the sled deal, now it's not scrolling down. There it is. Okay. Okay, now it's doing something different this time, as you can see. Adjust the laser focus to the surface of the object. Okay. To show you how, you release this lever here. That lets this slide up and down. You put the foot of that under the laser, and then you lift this back up, and now it's adjusted. Okay, so now I'm going to say next. Set engraving origin and preview range. Okay, if I knew how to do that, I'd be happy to do that. I think I know what it's saying is, what area do you want to print in, basically, is what it's, I think that's what it's saying. Okay, okay, that went off, so I guess that tells me I need to move this over here. Whoops, my arm accidentally hit that. That kind of screwed up everything. I'm going to try that again. You can see the laser down there at the bottom, and therefore you can tell you're on the wood. So that's maybe not optimal, but I'm just going to say start and see what happens. You know, just so you know, everything's real. Now here's the other thing that I don't like. There's no case on this. You can see the smoke instantly. Look how much smoke is coming. There's a ton of smoke. And this really should be inside a case. Now, I knew it was going to do that, don't get me wrong. I'm in a workshop that I don't care if it gets smoky, but it really ought to have a case. And then you should be able to pipe the smoke outside. The good news is it cut through on the first cut. Fortunately, I have a garage door there I can open, and I just opened it. I tell you, the thing looks like it's doing a great job. It really does. I'm only disappointed with the fact that it doesn't have a case. Everything else about this is just wonderful. I know you can buy a case for it. Looks like it's putting more detail into the design now. Honestly, I think it probably should have been detail first and then cut out second. You can see there's quite a bit of detail in it, and it does a very precise job, I can tell. Well, I'm not sure if that was an abrupt ending or if that's the way it ends. There's nothing on the menu screen now, and it's kind of stuck in a middle of the road area. Let me look at the menu here and see if the menu comes back, and I'll just say finished. I would think there'd be a way to say home on this. There probably is, under control maybe. Well, anyway, I guess I could say power, confirm, off. So it's off, and everything's shut down. So I'm just going to pull this forward and out of my way here, and we'll take a look at it. This part here cut through all the way on the first try. All the little parts even are cut through, so it looks really good. Yeah, really worked that part good. That's the base. I think this is a napkin holder is what it is. I wasn't even 100% sure what I was making when I first started. I'm going to see if we'll get this out of here. Hoping we do without breaking it. It seems to have cut through it really, really well. Actually, did a really nice job. And I think that's it. You can tell by the backside where you need to pop it out. That looks really good. And I'm sure that this will fit into here like such and so. Turn it the right way, and of course I'll get it right. If there's a 50-50, there's a 100% chance I'll get it wrong. So I put it in two places before I put it in the last correct one. There it is. And then we've got another one. Everything fits perfectly. Tiny bit of CA glue, and that's going to be just right. There's a nice little festive napkin holder for the table during Christmas. That's pretty cool. Well, my friends, that really was pretty much intuitive. I mean, there was a few stumbling blocks there, just like anything. You know, for as complicated as it is, it's pretty simple. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't bad. But hold on there, Laser Breath. We're going to see if it'll do what it says it'll do, and that is print files from my computer. So I moved a file over to this USB drive. I'm going to plug that in, and let's just see if it'll do that. Okay, my friends, as you can see, I've got my USB drive plugged in here. I have not powered it on yet. Let's power it on. I've got a new piece of wood in there, as you can see also. All right, it went to home. Let's see, this time go to projects again. This time I'm going to pick USB disk. I checked to make sure the file's on there with my computer, and it is definitely on there. As you can probably see there's just two folders mentioned, and those are the two folders that are on the disk. I suspect the problem is the file format. I have a feeling that this is not recognizing Lightburn file format, although I heard that you could use this with Lightburn, so I would assume that it would work. And I looked through the manual, and honestly, I don't see any help on that. It could just be me. I'm a bad reader, but I don't see any help. Well, my friends, I tried one more thing. I just saved the G code from the file on this drive, and sure enough, that pops up. Whether or not it will print or not is a totally different thing. Let's select it and see what happens. It says it's processing. I don't know if I have to wait. I assume I do. Let's check to see if it's on the board. It's barely on the board as I can see. Barely, but it's on there. It's on there too. Still on there. So I'm going to send it and see what happens. Hopefully it's going to work. Except that I don't know how to send it. Well, let's see if it works. Since this does not have a case or protection, I'm wearing my green safety glasses. Well, the good news is it's cutting through everything on the first pass. So the laser itself seems to be very good. A lot of smoke though. Really wish it would have came with a cover. I think I'm going to make a cover for it and probably have to buy an expensive piece of glass. But it's a good machine. It deserves a cover. I don't think I'm going to buy a ready-made cover. And just for the record, the air assist is on. It is working. Well, there you have it, my friends. It looks like it completed. I think I'm just going to hit the stop button to make it stop. That shuts everything down. Well, let's see if it actually did do the job like it's supposed to. I think it did. I think it did a really nice job. Yeah, it's about as good as you can do. Very happy with the way it cuts. I think the only negative that I've seen in terms of the directions would have just been had it given you a little bit more insight as to how to use the USB drive, the thumb drive. The fact that I've got lots of experience with computers, I recognize that it was some sort of a format issue. I just wasn't sure which format issue it was, and sure enough it was the G-code issue. So had I had a G-code file there on the very first attempt, it would have worked the very first time, obviously. This is a difficult one to put together because it's got so many parts. So that's just a little tray. In conclusion, my friends, I think that this is a very, very nice laser cutter. I like it a lot. In fact, it might be my favorite one so far. I do like the fact that you can operate it from this screen. I think that's pretty darn handy. In terms of the work on your PC, there's no difference. You're going to have to do the work on your PC. That's a lot of work. That's where all the work is. Once you send your file to your cutter, it's a done deal. But what I do like is the fact that you can put your file off your computer onto a drive, come over here, stick it in, and then just tell it to print. Just kind of like a normal printer, which is really, really nice. The two negatives were, I think that the overall instructions could be improved, which I think that's, you can say that just about any product anymore. Now they did do a very nice booklet. Their instructions look really nice and all that, but I think they could do a little bit more work on their instructions and make things a little more clear. Just exactly like on this thumb drive, you know, maybe spell it out. That note, if you want to use a thumb drive, you got to use G-code or something like that. The only other thing that I am disappointed about, it would just be that it didn't come with a case. Now, if it had a case on it, I would give this a perfect 10. Without the case, you know, it's still a 10 in terms of operation, but I'd drop it down to about a 7 in terms of the overall product because of the fact that it doesn't have the case. Now, if your intention is to use it in an open garage, then fine, you're good to go. You don't have to worry about the case. But the thing about the case is it does provide protection against the laser hitting your eyes and things like that, so the safety aspect. Of course, they do provide safety glasses with it, so obviously that's really nice. I didn't show you, but this also came with some consumables. I think this is a piece of dark plexiglass that you could engrave on. These are some black cards that I think you could engrave on there. I think they're aluminum. Basically, you would cut through the black and expose the aluminum, and it would be really nice. So like a business card or something like that, it would really look nice. It came with a few other things, some wire ties and a little brush. Thank you so much, AlgoLaser, for sending me this Alpha MK2 laser cutter. I have to agree that it is one of the easiest ones I've ever seen. If you enjoyed seeing this laser, please give me a thumbs up, and we'll see you on the next video. Thank you very much.